American Family features everyday families and their extraordinary stories and seeks to inspire each of us to capture our own family's voices of wisdom before those voices are gone. Coming up, the Baldock family from New Hampshire tells their inspiring story.
Every year since 1779, maple syrup has been made on that property in those two sugar houses that we have there. 500 trees. My father gets a notice from the state saying they want to put a bypass in. So they said they were going to put it through the maple orchard over here. And my father said, well, what do you mean? I depend on that syrup to earn a living here. He said, I make 500 gallons of syrup a year, and I sell it to keep my farm going.
He said, that's my life. I built that sugar bush. That's how I pay my taxes. That's how I'm able to buy clothes for my kids with a family of 14.
Now you're going to take that away from me. When those chainsaws and started cutting his maples, I never saw that man cry before in my life, but he certainly did that day.
This is the story of our family, the Baldock family. Our father's name was Hector Charles Baldock, and my mother's name was Ora Baldock. My mother was pregnant for 12 years, 6 months, and that was from 1922 to 1946. Half of her life, that life is she was pregnant. There were 14 children. The first 3 were boys. The next one was a daughter, and she lived 2 months. And then we had another sister, and then we had Morris, Ernest, and Hector, and then we had Anita, and then we had Armin, and then we had Lorette, and then we had Robert, and then we had Helen. Laconia is right in the center of New Hampshire, right in the center, right where the big Lake Winnipesaukee is. Guilford is about 3 miles from the center of Laconia.
My grandfather was born in Quebec and came here as a child, but I know that my grandmother was born here in Laconia.
They both lived at 17 Highland Street.
One lived upstairs and one lived downstairs, and it was very convenient for him, right? For dating.
I've never known any two people that are any more in love than my parents.
My father taught us how to work.
He was a yes and no man, mostly no.
He was the boss, and we all knew it.
He was only 5 feet 4 or 5, never weighed more than 127 pounds. And any 2 of us kids could have beat the hell out of him at any time, but we had the respect that he earned.
And he was a very good provider. Religion. They both had religion. Number 1, the children were second.
He would never start anything on a Friday. Always avoided working on Sunday. That was the Lord's Day.
My dad and I are the only 2 that liked horses. And he loved his trotters and paces, well, trotters especially.
That was one of the few pleasures my father had.
None of us smoked, and he was a smoker. One day we were milking, and he got up from milking and started coughing, and he fell flat on his face in the gutter there. And I said, what the heck? And I got him up, and I said, are you okay? And he's coughing and coughing, and finally I helped him up on his feet, and he said, yeah, I'm okay now, I'm all set. When he came up to have breakfast, he opens the stove, the reamer there, opens the reamer, takes his pack of cigarettes out and throws them in the fire. My mother said, "Charlie, do you know what you just did?" And he said, "What?" She said, "You just threw your cigarettes in there." He says, "Yeah, I'm all done smoking." And that was it. Every time he went into one of them stores, guys say, "Hey, Charlie, how about a cigarette?" You know, don't tempt him. He's quit smoking. He said, "Oh, really?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Oh, I'm sorry." He said, "I won't do that again." He never smoked another cigarette.